they have a shot in this race anyway.
And we should point out the Puerto Madero that we're seeing right there is not the Puerto Madero we know in Southern California.
No, it's not. Puerto Madero that we know in Southern California is from Chile.
Okay.
This one is from Brazil.
Okay. And how many total horses then do we have going in this race?
In this race, we have a total of 18 horses.
Wow.
18 horses.
And so people talk about they don't like having full fields here, which would consist of 14. Now you have 18 there. And how do the trainers feel about that?
Usually every year the Pellegrinis has very numerous horses in the race. There's always an 18-20 horse field because it reunites the best 3-year-olds on the dirt and turf from Argentina plus the best 3-year-olds from Brazil, Chile, Peru. This year, unfortunately, the runners from Peru did not come because their best horses were sold to the United States earlier.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll have to get some of those names from you a little bit later on. I don't know if you were watching earlier when he picked the Exacta in the previous race that we showed in Argentina, but Jeff Lifson's been working hard at finding the key contenders in the big race today.
Yes, he has. Actually, the fans have made their vote as well. They think Asadero, the logical choice in here, but let's go right now to Jeff Lifson to look at some more of the contenders in the Pellegrini. Jeff?
Hey, thanks, guys. We have a little bit of time before the big race, a mile and a half, as you say, one turn on the turf here at San Isidro, a race that has a lot of excitement this year. Will the 2-3-year-olds battle themselves out? Will Asadero and Litigado set the pace and basically bury themselves and make it good running necessarily for Refinado Tom and Crystal House? That's one big question. Will last year's winner, Kolsak, will he do anything this year? And will Ixal, who is a closer from way, way back, will he have a shot if the pace is right up front? Those are a lot of questions to ask. We wanted to ask a few more, and here is a look at the contenders.
Hey, stud. Looking good. Sorry, stud in Argentina is another word for the barns where the horses hang out. Now that we've broken the language barrier, let's study the contenders for the Pellegrini. Asidero is a 3-year-old with big shoes to fill. His trainer once raced Gentleman, an Argentine horse that conquered the U.S. as well.
I know it's a lot to say, but I think this horse is better than Gentleman.
The name Asidero means something that has truth. Well, this much is true. The colt's been a front-running champ in his last 5 races, including the Jockey Club at San Isidro. Battling for the lead with Asidero might be another youngster, another 3-year-old. But Litigado will have 2-time Pellegrini-winning jockey Pablo Falero aboard, hungry to do it again.
On the track, you give 100% of yourself to defend the race.
There's less bumping and grinding on the lead, and that's where Litigado recently won the Argentine version of the Kentucky Derby. You're looking at a filly in a hurry to head to the U.S. 2-time Derby-winning owners Bob and Beverly Lewis will take over Crystal House after the Pellegrini. Her trainer hopes the Lewis luck works at San Isidro.
God willing, I'm going to touch him for good luck and see if it rubs off.
Luck? Who needs luck when you've got a powerful filly who flattened the boys in her last race in Chile? Meet the older horse back in his old stomping ground. Refinado Tom actually won a stakes race in the U.S. for trainer Dick Mandela, and then Mandela graciously sent the horse back down south.
Mandela said, well, I did my best. I think that Refinado can do better in Argentina.
For racing, is it similar to a Kentucky Derby out here, or does it even go way beyond that?
It's very similar to the Kentucky Derby atmosphere, but the Pellegrini Day is like combining the Kentucky Derby Day with Breeders' Cup Day. It's a huge, spectacular day for horse racing in Argentina.
And of course, the best is yet to come. The Pellegrini, a Group 1 event, will be coming up live here in just a few moments with more on this big afternoon out in South America at San Isidro Racecourse. Let's go to Jeff Lifson. Jeff?
Hey, thanks, guys. Behind me is a beautiful, lovely sight. The paddock filled with the horses that are going to be running in the Grand Pellegrini. A pretty magical sight here just outside of Argentina. I've learned, my first trip to Buenos Aires, that these people never go to sleep. That's on the people side. On the horse side, there's been a few differences that we've noticed that we think that you'll be very interested in learning about and probably try to check for the next 15, 20 minutes before the race starts if you can notice some of the other differences as they warm up. But once we got here, we were pretty sure we weren't into the U.S. anymore.
You see this guy? He's the groom of an Argentine horse, takes care of the animal. And then when it's time for training, actually does the galloping, bareback no less, on the training track. Hey, that's... yeah, different. You won't often see this at an American racetrack. It's 4 in the afternoon and horses are let out of their stalls to jog or even gallop hours after the morning training session. Folks, that's, yeah, different. And in Argentina, on race day, a horse can spend an hour or so standing or walking just outside the track before he ever gets a rider up on him. I told you, it's, yeah, absolutely different. Once the horse gets on the track, they warm up for maybe half an hour before it's showtime. That's not U.S. racing. It's Argentine. It's different. Winning and losing, the thrill of victory, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that rarely changes at any racetrack, but for the Pellegrini, a U.S. audience should get ready to be diferente.
Yeah, it takes a little getting used to here. With that, we'll send it back to you guys. The Pellegrini is coming.
Jeff Lifson, thank you very much. I sense a common theme in that story.
What was that again?
Things are a little
Different.
Yes, they are. What are some of the biggest differences, though, over there in terms of just racing in general from here in the United States?
Well, like Jeff was mentioning, the training style is very different. The horses are trained horseback, like Jeff mentioned, without a saddle cloth, without an actual saddle like here in the States. And that's a lot of horses that come from South America. A lot of them don't acclimate to the United States because of that training change.
There's the
8A3
Tiran,
a horse coming out from Brazil, trained
up in here. As Michael pointed out to us earlier, Asadero is basically the top 3-year-old turf horse in South America. And then when you're looking at the other big 3-year-old in here, Litigado, his best races have been on the dirt, so it's a question as to whether or not Litigado can challenge Asadero on this surface. Do you think that can happen?
I think that could happen, and they both have similar running styles. They like to be on the front pace, and it's going to be a tough call. They need to decide who's better between the two, but also we need to look out for the older horses like Refinado Tom, the last Triple Crown winner in Argentina in 1996.
Ixal as well.
Ixal as well, who's a great come from behind horse, and it's going to be a spectacular race.
And this is the Pellegrini, a Group 1 event, a mile and a half on the turf. Of course, your big contender in here, your favorite, is Asidero, the horse who is probably the best 3-year-old on the turf, has to contend with.
Great look at him right there, too.
Exactly, and the screen is showing that San Isidro Racetrack is offering a win-place show exacta and trifecta wagering on this race.
There's number 6, Exodus.
Exodus, number 6, ridden by Guillermo Sena, a very mature and experienced rider in Argentina. Number 9.
Ixal, the horse that you like, of the older horses.
Ixal, yes, he's one of the main contenders here. One of the best older horses in Argentina right now.
A horse, though, Michael, that has had some health problems in the past, but when he is healthy, it seems like he really has run well.
Exactly, yeah. He makes his presence felt all the time when he's running in the race, especially in Group 1 races.
And there is number 2, Blue Jan.
Blue Jan, ridden by Jorge Noriega, a son of Potreon. Potreon, his sire, won the Pellegrini in 1992, and later was a stakes place in the United States.
So a look at the horses as they have completed the post-parade, and I assume they're warming up. How much time from the post-parade to the start of the Pellegrini?
It's usually longer than here in America. It's usually 15 to 20 minutes longer. I don't know the exact reason for it. It's just a matter of I think the event, that is going on here in Argentina. They're giving the horse a little more time to warm up since it's just a Group 1 race, and the starter will let them know when they need to approach the gate.
And Greg, that would mean it's differente.
Yes, it is. They do things their own way out there.
Yeah.
A little more laid back, having a little more fun out there. Right now, let's go to our own Jeff Lifson, who's having a good time out there as well. Jeff?
All right, thanks very much, guys. I am joined by Fernando Diaz-Valdez, who is a bloodstock agent who has been very integral in getting Crystal House to the United States. There could be a great U.S. story here from this Pellegrini if Bob and Beverly Lewis win the Kentucky Derby this year, win the Preakness, and also win the Pellegrini with Crystal House, who I understand the stipulation was that she had to run in this race.
That's correct. That was when they bought it, the agreement with the ex-owners was to run it in partnership in this race with the colors of Mr. Lewis's. I'm very thankful to Emmanuel Desaru that was involved in this, and also Mr. McAnally, which I'm quite happy because he won the Eclipse Award Pellegrini here, but he didn't win the race. So I hope this is a good time to win the race and win the Pellegrini.
This filly, I saw her yesterday. She looks like she's holding her flesh amazingly well. She looks like she is, her coat is strong, and she's been training exceedingly well. She has beaten the boys twice. Is this too much coming from Chile now to Argentina, where maybe the competition's a little stiffer, or do you think she'll hold her own?
Yeah, I think so that you're right. I mean, this is a very tough competition, of course, in Argentina. But the filly proved very much that he was an outstanding in Chile. He beat the colts twice. Then he ran in a very impressive race at 1.25 miles on the grass in a fantastic time. I think she has the conditions, and now I hope she can prove that we are right.
And Ron McAnally is here to collect his horse after it's over with at some point. Bob and Beverly Lewis did not make it down, but they can watch it live right here on TVG.
That's correct, and I wish the best of luck for them and to everybody, and of course on this great evening this afternoon here in Argentina.
Fernando Diaz-Valdez, thank you very much for your time, sir. A man who was integral in getting Crystal House, a horse if you're looking for some kind of an edge or you want to have a hometown favorite. Crystal House, a horse that's going to Bob and Beverly Lewis, the folks that turn everything golden that they touch in terms of horse racing, and they're going to get Crystal House after this race is over with. That will send it back to you guys in Los Angeles.
Jeff, thank you very much. And Crystal House, of course, a fill-in here going against the guys, but a horse that we will soon see here in the States, Michael.
Exactly. She's going to be transferred over to the Hall of Famer trainer Ron McAnally after her Pellegrini race. And like Jeff was saying, she has beaten the boys twice in Group 1 events in Chile. And in Chile, the press are extremely high of her. And it's going to be interesting to see how she does today.
Ron McAnally has a lot potentially riding on this race down the lane. It's also been rumored he could take over for Asidero as well.
Exactly. Mr. McAnally, who has very good friendship with Juan Carlos Echechauri, trainer of Asidero, and owners Guillermo and Samuel Lieberman of Stud La Palm, one of the most important farms in Argentina. And they also have plans of bringing Asidero over to the United States, perhaps after his Pellegrini.
For the Pellegrini Group 1 event, this not only, you would probably compare this race to the Kentucky Derby, the biggest race in the United States. This is the biggest race in the entire continent of South America.
Exactly, yes. It's like the Breeders' Cup, classic here in the United States, but it's interesting that, like I said before, it reunites the best trios from Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Peru, and not only the best trios, but I'm talking trios, turf, dirt, and it brings everybody in. It reunites the best horses from South America in general.
With your selections last time, we got to have it just before they break out of the gate. Your 1, 2, 3 picks in here.
Well, I got to go with one horse, Asidero, who is the best trio in Argentina on the turf, as a top jockey in Edwin Talaverano. And my second choice would have to be I would go with number 9, Exile, the top older horse in Argentina, ridden by Jorge Ojeda. And my third choice would have to be Refinado Tom, who is a very brave and honest horse. And they're off at San Isidro. They're for the Pellegrini.
Por el lado de la pista, el número 1, Asidero, viene ganando ubicaciones rápidamente en busca de la vanguardia. El número 11, Litigado, abierto, viene corriendo el 8, Hello Costly. Más atrás lo hace el competidor número 5, el Baile, por el centro de la pista avanza el competidor número 3, Colzac. Más abierto viene desempeñándose el competidor número 7, Guarachero. Los competidores van a enfrentar ya la señal indicatoria de los 2000 metros y con lucha a la delantera lo está haciendo por el lado exterior de la pista el 11, Litigado, pequeña ventaja sobre Asidero que corre expectante por dentro. Ganando ubicaciones por el centro de la pista, viene corriendo el 7, Guarachero. Más atrás viene corriendo y por el lado de la pista el competidor número 8, Hello Costly. Más atrás corre el 3, Colzac, ganando terreno por el lado de la pista, corre el competidor número 6, Exodus. Abierto, viene ganando colocaciones el 5, el Baile, por el centro de la pista, la competidora número 4, Crystal House. Los competidores se enfrentan ya a la señal indicatoria de los 1600 metros con Litigado. La delantera mantiene 2 cuerpos y medio de ventaja sobre Asidero. Tercera ubicación a 1 cuerpo y medio viene corriendo el competidor número 7, Guarachero. En la cuarta ubicación avanzando por el centro de la pista corre el 3, Colzac. Más atrás viene corriendo el competidor número 5, el Baile. viene corriendo apareado con el 8. Hello Costly desde el fondo avanza la competidora número 4. Crystal Hoy más atrás viene ganando ubicaciones el 2 Blue John. Los competidores abandonaron ya la recta de frente, van a enfrentar ya la señal indicatoria de los 1200 metros con el número 11 Litigado en la delantera. Acciona con 2 cuerpos de ventaja sobre el número 1 Asidero. En la tercera ubicación viene avanzando rápidamente Guarachero abierto, expectante, corre en cuarta ubicación. El 3 Cousac se viene arribando los punteros, el 5 el baile. Abierto viene ganando terreno rápidamente por el lado y la pista la competidora número 4 Crystal Howe. Más abierto gana ubicaciones el 16 Barnot. Los competidores se enfrentan ya a la señal indicatoria de los 700 metros invariante. Siempre en la delantera mantiene ventajas el 11. Litigado mantiene ventajas sobre Asidero que ahora abre y va decididamente en busca de los puestos de vanguardia. Viene ganando terreno por el centro de la pista con Saga abierto en larga atropellada. Viene ganando terreno rápidamente. Competidor número 9 sale enfrenta a los competidores. La señal indicatoria de los 400 metros con lucha a la delantera. Lo está haciendo por el lado de la pista. Asidero logra tirar pequeña ventaja sobre el Litigado que lo hace por el lado interior de la pista. Desde el fondo viene avanzando la competidora número 4 Crystal Howe. Descuenta a los competidores ya los últimos 150 metros de carrera. Se trenzan en lucha. Asidero Litigado por dentro de la competidora número 4 Crystal Howe va decididamente en busca de la vanguardia. Descuenta a los competidores los últimos 100 metros de carrera. Vuelve a la carga Litigado abierto Asidero por dentro de la competidora número 4. Poco metro Litigado y la competidora número 4 chilena en una misma línea y cruzaron el disco.
What a tremendous finish, Michael. 3 horses in contention throughout much of the race. It was number 1 Asidero and number 11 Litigado, but a great run at the rail by Crystal House, and it appeared near the end Asidero may have come back and gotten the win.
Exactly. I believe Asidero got the win here in the Carlos Pellegrini, and over number 11 Litigado, and third, very close, ahead back, the filly, the 3-year-old filly Crystal House coming from Chile. A tremendous race. Here we see the replay again of the straightaway. We have Litigado running near the rail, the 11 horse, with the top rider in Argentina, Gustavo Pablo Falero, and the outside running second is Asidero with jockey Edwin Talaverano, and running third, making a late run there is number 4 horse, Crystal House, the filly from Chile, who's wearing the colors of Mr. Robert and Beverly Lewis, who just purchased his filly from Chile
nice
last week.
purchase, it looks like. And,
very nice purchase.
And Ron McAnally, when Jeff Lifson was talking to him earlier, said, "Who's your picking here?" He said, "I have to go with the filly from Chile."
That's right, and he made a very good choice, and I believe this filly will have a lot of things to say here in the States.
Oh, what a great race.
It looks like the 1 horse Asidero got there by a head, actually, over the 11 horse Litigado.
And for the second time today, our expert coming in to join us, Michael Burns, has selected the winner. He said he liked number 1, Asidero, and it appears that's what happened here. Asidero first, Litigado second. Third, great effort by number 4, Crystal House. Congratulations to Bob and Beverly Lewis. It looks like this filly's going to have a bright future here in the States, and they've been big supporters of TVG, and hopefully they're watching this and got an opportunity to see Crystal House run a big third today. But a long stretch run. Just how long is it there?
Yeah, the straightaway in San Isidro Racecourse, 500 meters.
Wow.
So it's very long. That's why you notice the jockeys waited until the last 100 meters to really send their horses out.
And that would be the 3rd win in the Pellegrini for jockey Edwin Talaverano. He just really seems to have the rest of the field's number in this event.
He's a world-class jockey. I have to say the same thing for Gustavo Pablo Falero, who's leading the standings right now in Argentina, who finished second with Litigado. But this guy, I mean, he won the national standings in Peru for 8 straight years during the 1990s. And the reason why Stu Lapalm contracted this jockey was because he was a 2-time winner of the Pellegrini running for his native Peru, and that's an awesome accomplishment.
And when you look at the pedigree of Asidero, it's amazing to look how this horse traces back. You know, one of the greatest sires in the history of thoroughbred racing is Nearctic. He's turned out to be such a grass sire, and if you trace Asidero through his sire, Fadeev, a son of Nureyev, then you go back to Northern Dancer, then you go back to Nearctic. Asidero was bred to be a champion at this distance.
Definitely. Bred to be a champion at this distance and bred to be a champion on the turf. And here again, he proved it again here in the Group 1 Carlos Pellegrini. A great win by this trio. Oh, he just dumped jockey Edwin Talaverano there.
Oh, did he actually hit?
I think
the jockey
he got right back up, so it looks like he's okay.
They got a little bit too excited there for a second.
Well, you see the frenzy out here when it comes to the winner's circle. The people so close, the fans, and that seemed to set off Asidero a little bit right there. But they are just right up against the horse here.
Exactly. They were near the horses, and I believe it's great. It's great for the public to take a good look at their superstar, and it's just a great race.
No, I noticed he's riding with gloves there, and good thing he had him on just before. That was a look back at Asadero, just kind of kicking his hind legs up, and fortunately, it wasn't much more than that. The jockey fine, but do all the jockeys ride with gloves down there?
Not all of them, but most of them. Maybe it could be a little cold there in Argentina, but it doesn't look like it because I see people wearing short sleeves. But it just depends on what the jockey prefers, his style. It all varies.
No question now, too, that Asadero is the best 3-year-old in South America. Argentina now won 5 Group 1 events in a row. And now coming to conquer new territory. Probably will come over here to the U.S. and for Ron McInerney.